podcast and take this walk with me.
Welcome back to the Three Parallels podcast with your host, the Brother Dr. Jason Branch, a show where we rediscover who we were, embrace who we are, and make room for who we're trying to become. If that is you, you're in the right place at the right time, because on today's show, we talking about the bros. But before we get into the bros, understand that I'm an executive performance coach and I help high-achieving, helping professionals overcome burnout, compassion fatigue, overthinking, and perfectionism from trying to be somebody that you're not, meaning your old self. My job is to help you become your best self, your better self, your future self, which is him, her, or them. All caps, no blue hat. So if you're in need of coaching services, I'm available. If you're in need of therapy services, I'm available as well. I'm accepting new clients and I'm just giving you what I got. It's Wednesday, my friends, which means the lab. The lab is available for anyone who's interested in being connected to a community, a culture, a collective of people who are high achieving, helping professionals who are willing to do the work on themselves. Because to me, there's three types of therapists. You got horrible ones, we ain't got to talk about them. Everybody talking about them. You got good ones, those who just do enough. And then you got great ones, the ones who are willing to do the work on themselves to help them help other people. So now the protocol has been established. Let's get to it. Where are we? I'm glad you asked. Coming to you live from Battlecast Studios. Where's Battlecast Studios? Ooh, we coming in from Gator University by way of Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. Because Cornell University in Ithaca, New York is where the illustrious, the prestigious Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established December 4th, 1906. We're talking about the bros. And when I say the bros, I'm talking about Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, everybody that's a part of it, anybody that knows anything about it, from fans, family, friends, your mama and them, your daddy and them, whomever them. All of us are connected to an alpha in some shape, form, or fashion, directly or indirectly. If you've been connected directly, you have been blessed. And that's me. So you're directly connected to me. If you've been connected indirectly, you've also been blessed. Because I've been blessed due to this fraternity, and that's part of the show that I want to talk about today, because I'm celebrating the founders. I'm celebrating this fraternity. I'm celebrating who I am now, Three Parallels, because this fraternity helped me become him. All caps, no blue hat. So I'm actually rocking a crossing shirt, one of my crossing shirts from when I pledged back in the fall of 2000 at the University of West Alabama. So this t-shirt that I'm wearing is 26 years old. I got this t-shirt older than some of the listeners, okay? I need you to know where we at and what you're dealing with. So this episode is to pay homage to the bros, to pay homage to the fraternity, to pay homage to the people that helped me become him. And there's a lot of people along my journey that helped me get here, and I'm thankful to give love. I'm thankful to show love. I'm thankful to just have this opportunity in this place, in this space, in this platform to share my truth. You can do whatever you want to do with it. So let's dive in. Three parallels, right? So I mentioned Cornell University. That's when the fraternity was established. And this is also a history lesson for those who may not know. So the first black fraternity in the world ever was Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, which is the fraternity that I happen to be a proud member of. That was established December 4th, 1906 by 7 distinguished gentlemen we call our jewels. The Divine Nine, if you don't know, for black Greek fraternities, men and women, there are 9 fraternities and sororities. And with these 9, they all started with the same reason in mind. That historically, marginalized communities, black folks, just did not have the options and the opportunities to experience college or to have life in college because of segregation. And even when schools were desegregated, black folks were allowed into institutions, but they weren't welcomed. So these fraternities and sororities was established to build community, to create community, to help us help each other along the way of being college students. So therefore, any fraternity or sorority that you may have seen, especially black fraternity sorority, it's meaningful. There's so much value there, and there's so much life there, where once you become a member, you're a member for life until you decide to denounce. And some people do, and that's fine. Everybody has their own choice. But during this season in life, people are denouncing their fraternity and sorority related to religion, personal preference, whatever the case may be. More often than not, people that are part of Black Greek letter organizations, they're in it for life. That's me. I'm a lifer. So much so I got a tattoo. So I got a couple tattoos, and one of them happens to be a fraternity because it means that much to me. Other sororities, fraternities, other groups, it's something to do while you're in school. It's something to do afterwards. It's something to help you get a job, something to help you do different things. But within this fraternity, within this, the Divine Nine, typically, it's a lifestyle. It's a way that you live. It's a way that you carry yourself. It's a way that you do business. It's a way that you live your life personally and professionally. And I was exposed to that. And that exposure led me to become him. And this is what I want to talk about. Because a lot of people, give fraternities, sororities a bad name, bad rap because of things that they've heard, things that they've seen, things they may have experienced on their own. But it's not one-sided. It's not one-dimensional. It's not one size fits all. I mean, I can still wear the shirt from 26 years ago. I'm very proud of that, because that speaks volumes of my growth and my change. How many shirts can you wear from 26 years ago? I'll leave that at that. No judgment, no shame, no guilt. We just here to have a good time. So I mentioned earlier, Spicy J is in the building. What up, baby? And Spicy J says, it ain't no podcast if he ain't on it. I mentioned earlier about the lab, right? The lab is through Gator University. The lab is every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Chance to get connected. If you want to get connected with the lab, get connected to Gator U. All the information is in the description. Also, if you've been listening to this for a while, and I'm noticing a lot of people that's listening, but you're not subscribed. So when you're not subscribed, I don't know who's who. But when you're subscribed, it lets me know who you are, where you are, and what you are doing. So please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast, and share it to other ignorant folks who don't know nothing about Greek life, especially Black Greek life. This is a great way to give them what they need. So let's dive back in. So this fraternity changed my life. Being a member of this fraternity changed my life because I knew I wanted to pledge when I got to college. Before I got to college, I was aware, I was familiar, but I didn't really know what was what. So being at the University of West Alabama at the time, I mentioned how I got started. So I didn't think I could pledge Alpha, because typically you need a 3.0 or above to pledge. That's a B average. I didn't have that. I didn't have that at the time. And as I start learning about the fraternity, I start seeing the differences in the different types of people that's a part of it. For example, my exposure to the fraternity was through my campus at the University of West Alabama, which is connected to a cluster. And that cluster represents University of Alabama, Stillman College, the alumni chapter, and University of West Alabama. So if you're interested in a fraternity or a sorority, typically, back in the day, they would call it a smoker or an interest meeting. So you will go to a smoker or interest meeting to let the fraternity sorority know that you're interested. Also an opportunity for you to learn about the fraternity sorority. Typically, you're going to a interest meeting based off of fraternity sorority that you're interested in. So I went to my first smoker back in 1999. Yeah, fall 99, if I'm not mistaken. Fall 99, spring 2000. I went to my first smoker because I knew I wanted to be an alpha. And I knew I wanted to be an alpha because the alphas at that time on campus were the guys. Like, they were involved in everything. They were leaders. They dressed nice. Like, these brothers was bad. They were known for being smart, intelligent, great communicators, great men, humble, humble with confidence, but they were everywhere, and they were very small. It was a very small chapter, but they were involved in everything. They were brothers just in and out of everything. During that time also, the Sigmas, it was a bunch of them. They did not run out. So They just had a lot of people there, but they didn't have that reputation on campus that I value. So they were there and there was a lot of them, but they didn't stand out to me the way the Alphas did. And then you have Kappas, Kappa Alpha Psi. Kappas were there, and every fraternity is known for their stereotypical beliefs that people have about them, but every fraternity and sorority is different based off of the campus, based off where they are. So for me, the Alphas just stood out. The Qs was not on the yard at the time, and Iotas just did not exist in the South during this time. So I'm giving you a brief overview because it's too much. It's too much depth. We could do a whole podcast, not an episode, but a whole podcast dedicated to Greek life. That's how deep it is. But we're not going to spend a lot of time there. A lot of famous Alphas, I just want you, I'm biased, so I'm going to share about Alphas. A lot of famous Alphas, Martin Luther King is a famous Alpha, and there are tons of others. So I'm a part of something really big. So I knew I wanted to do this. Another reason I wanted to do it was the SEP shows, the partying, the opportunities, the options, the awareness. Like, there were so many aspects of the fraternity that I liked. So I knew I wanted to be a part. After I went to my smoker, then it's like, hey, if you're interested, you got to complete an application. And the application process at the time, just aging myself, was done on a typewriter. Some of y'all don't even know what that is. But 26 years ago, I was on a typewriter completing my application. And there's a cost as well. So the cost, whatever it was, I couldn't afford it. So I had help from other people to pay for me to join the fraternity. Big shout out to those who paid for me to get in. And we started with 7, ended with 4. Sometimes that's usually how it goes. Everybody that may start may not finish for several different reasons. But we all started together. And we were all the people that was together, we were all friends, family, connected. And we crossed the burning sands. We went through ups and downs. We went through 3 parallels, who we were, who we are becoming, to be members of this fraternity. And once I became a member in the fall of 2000, my life completely changed. Now, I was informed. This is a little inside scoop. You know what I'm saying? Don't be telling my business. But because we family. So before I pledged, there was a lot of things that was shared. Big shout out to my dean of pledges, Curtis Sampson. What up, bro? There's a lot of things that was shared to let us know what was ahead. Again, 3 parallels is always present. So before I got in, it was always shared, hey, it's harder being an alpha than becoming one. And I'm like, man, shut up. What does that mean? It's harder being than becoming. I didn't understand it at the time, but I learned later. It was also, people are going to look at you differently as, Alpha Jason or Alpha this person, that person. You become a part of a culture, a community, a collective of people who are doing some amazing things. Not all great men are alphas, but all alphas are great men. And if you disagree, you probably had a bad experience with one alpha. And for many people that have one bad experience with one person, they categorize an entire culture, a community of people from one bad experience that may have had. Just want to talk about it. That's your problem, not everybody else's. So do not allow one bad moment, one bad experience to cloud your view on human beings doing human things. Another example was, hey, once you become a member of the frat, man, women gonna be knocking on your door. And I'm like, what? Man, no way. They were right. So there is a level of prestige, there's a level of attention, there's a level of connection, there's just a level of becoming somebody on campus that's not like everyone else. So if you're a student athlete, if you're a member of fraternity and sorority, if you're in student government, if you're in leadership, if you're doing anything beyond just being a student on campus, there's a lot of credibility, a lot of accolades that come with that. So I was able to gain a lot of those things, and it enhanced my life because, I wasn't accustomed to the attention. I wasn't accustomed to the love, the support, the opportunities, the leadership. I really transitioned. I really grown being a college student into a fraternity. It changed my life. And it changed my life, not just because of the fraternity. It changed my life because of the people that's in it. The people that's in this fraternity changed my life because they exposed me to things that I weren't exposed of. Now, you know, family and friends of the show. For example, Dr. Togan, Dr. McGee, you know, these are brothers that's part of the pack. I met them through the fraternity. And what's so unique about them is they knew what they wanted to do after college. They knew they were going to college to get a degree. I was going to college because this is what I do instead of going to the military. I'm trying this out. That's why I went. They were going to college knowing we finna get a career. I'm like, what's that? I'm accustomed to a job. So being exposed to different types of men from all walks of life, from all over the world, exposed me to what was possible for me, which I didn't know. And it also allowed me to see things that was in my basement that I wasn't aware of. For the newbies, what's up, baby? For the old heads that's on the show, thank you for continuing this journey. I talk about three parallels, who we were, who are becoming. I also talk about three parallels with your house. The house, you know, the living room, the attic, the basement. The living room is where we are presently. The attic is where you are in your mind. The basement is what's under the scenes. We don't go down there. So a lot of basement stuff came up for me when I'm surrounded by these guys because they were exposed to things. They knew things. They were, in my mind, so far ahead of me in all aspects. Number one, school. They did school well. Number two, their dress. They dressed well. For me, Jordans and sweatpants and a t-shirt was how I was getting down. But these brothers was known for shirts and ties, suits. I mean, clean cut. They cool with the president. They in the press box. They SGA presidents. These brothers was doing everything. And I'm like, yo, I want to be a part of that. Because I knew if I became alpha, I'm going to be somebody. And I was right. So once I pledged, big shout out to my line, the Pharaoh's 4, Dante Tisney, number 1, Garrick Mason, number 2, rest in peace. Number 3, myself. And then number 4, Dr. Maxwell Senior. Okay, again, everybody gonna be doing something. That's the alpha, and still remains true. Dante just celebrated 20 years for a radio, a TV station in Atlanta. 20 years in this job. Brother Mason, who passed away 2 years ago, a successful career as an engineer, truck driver, computer information systems. This brother did everything. And unfortunately passed due to health issues. Myself, y'all know me. Y'all see what I'm doing. And then Brother Dr. Maxwell Senior Okwe, who's a psychiatrist, a black male psychiatrist. Like, what are the chances? That's just my line, okay? We ain't talking about the fraternity. We ain't talking about my chapter. That's just my line. So we all are successful in our own rights. And with that success, we got the personal stuff too. So one of the biggest personal moments that happened for me that exposed me to so many different things was once I pledged, I got really tight with my line during our time together, really tight with the upperclassmen. So just close to different people, and being in school in Alabama, being from Ohio, typically I didn't go home. I didn't go to Ohio home for our break. So, you know, spring break, holiday break, different things like that. Usually I'll stay on campus, or I would go visit a frat brother's house, hang out with them because I didn't have anywhere to go. So one particular brother, I went to visit him and his family for one of the holidays, one of the breaks that we had. And this is when things began to open for me, meaning exposure happened for me. And the exposure was, I go home when he say, hey man, my mom, she gonna cook, man. We gonna have dinner. It's going down, man. We're gonna have a good time. I'll show you around, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. Just young, dumb, don't know much. So I get to his house and, you know, his dad in the living room watching TV, his mom in the kitchen cooking. He goes in, drop his bag off, and he's like, yeah, man, we're gonna have dinner about 6 o'clock. And I'm like, all right, cool. And, you know, I'm there getting settled in, and I'm like, hey man, what time your dad leave? Like, you know, he's here now. What time your dad leave? And he's like, huh? I said, yeah, your dad, he's staying for dinner. He's like, yeah, man. Yeah, we all gonna eat together. I said, oh, okay. And I was so curious about his dad because he was just there. He was there watching the game, doing whatever, tinkering around. And I'm not understanding that, both his parents are married and they're together living in the same house. I didn't know anything about that. I grew up in a single parent household. So for me, I don't know what that life is like. So this was my first time being exposed to a married couple that I did not know that lived in the same house. That was my fraternity brother's parents. So my curiosity continued of, so your dad, man, like, what does he do? Where's he going? Like, I was so curious about the man dad. And he was like, what do you mean? So he shared with him, shared with me what his dad does and who he is and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so he gonna eat with us? He's here for dinner? He like, yeah, Jay, what's up, man? And I'm like, where does he stay? And my bro looking at me like, what? Where does he stay? I said, yeah, where your dad live? He said, here. Oh, for real? Your dad live here with you? He said, yeah, man. I said, where does he sleep? He said in his bed. Remember my mom, they bedroom over the way. Like, what are you asking? What are you talking about, man? I mean, he getting frustrated with me. I'm getting frustrated with him. What are you talking about? I said, your dad. Like him, your mom and your dad together. Man, yeah, they've been together 30 years. 30 years? They've been together like nothing? No, man, he was confused because his normal life was an alien to me because I never saw two parents in a household living together in holy matrimony. I've never seen it before. And I didn't even realize it at the time. So moving forward, it's dinner time and I'm still waiting on this man to leave, and he did not leave. And that's when it hit me of, oh, you from a two-parent household where two people live here and take care of you and the family. I've never seen that. So my exposure to seeing a married couple manage a household was my fraternity brother and his family. And they still together to this day. And that's when things really hit me on the personal note to see the difference in people, culture, community, the whole nine. Because I was exposed to a married couple for the first time in my life at 18, 19 years old. And it made sense of why he was driven towards, education and career, because his dad was educated. His mom was well educated. And they were doing really good for themselves. And I saw that. And it really helped me understand that I didn't grow up the same way, and that's okay. But everybody has a different lived experience. This was his experience. And that was just one of the many pieces of exposure that I had because of this fraternity. It was the people in it. Another profound moment is knowing about the fraternity. Nationally, we do a lot of different activities and events. Voteless People is a Hopeless People, March of Dimes, voter registration drive, sex education drive. Like, there's a lot of premier programs that we do, and conferences. So conferencing is a really big deal. So for those who are in the health professional, you already understand conferencing, ACA, APA, SACES, NARACES, ACES, all these different conferences where you get together with people from all over the world and you learn. You're there to go to workshops and you learn. You go to business meetings, you go to luncheons, you connect, you network. It's a really great thing. I love conferencing. So if you see me at a conference, you already know it's going down. I typically have a little honeycomb hideout where I invite people in to hang out. And it ain't for everybody, just like this podcast, but it's for you. Fast forward, I go to my first district conference through the fraternity. And this was a big deal because I became a delegate. Not knowing, again, you got to look at both sides of the coin. Being a delegate for the fraternity means you're representing your chapter. So you're the person that represents the chapter. You go to all the meetings, you go to all the workshops, you do all the things. Now, me being young, a rookie, I was excited to be a delegate because number one, the chapter, they paying for everything. And then number two, I get to be in leadership, not recognizing if you're a delegate, you're doing all the work. So the people that ain't working will get the inside scoop. So if you're not a delegate during this time, you kicking it. You partying, you having a good time, you staying out late, you sleep in late. As a delegate, you may party like everybody else, but you up early in the morning to go to these business meetings. So at these conferences is when I really start meeting other men in this fraternity who just had goals, dreams, desires. They wanted to go further. They wanted to do more. And I'm exposed to all these different types of men that was living life intentionally, on purpose. They were in college on purpose. Their father may have been an alpha. And I'm like, what is this? My father, didn't have that experience. My mom didn't have that experience. So it was all new for me. And being at these conferences would teach you different ways of running a business, because that's what the fraternity was. Being a man, what does that look like? What does it mean? Skills, personal and professional, from resume writing to dressing for success, managing money, running a chapter. I mean, you name it. There were so many workshops available for us to learn as 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds that I still use to this day. And there were so many men that I looked up as mentors because they had careers and they would, come back and give back and support. And here we are 26 years later, I'm that guy now. I'm the guy that a lot of undergrads look up to and I mentor. And it's like, full circle. The parallels just keep going. So being at these conferences really exposed me to another side of life that I just didn't have access to. This fraternity changed me, y'all. And that's outside of campus. On campus, there was even more. So we were encouraged to take on leadership roles and positions. So I was encouraged to be, I served in every position possible in the fraternity because we were small. So that's why the opportunity were there. Like every semester, if you want to be somebody, you want to do something, you can, because it was available. So I tried it all, and we were encouraged to try many different things. So on campus, this was an opportunity for me to be a leader. So getting involved with leadership opportunities, public speaking. This is how I started my career in public speaking and leadership. It's because of fraternity. Service projects, our national programs, adopting a mile, volunteering at the Head Start. Like we were doing everything all the time. So traditionally in a week, we would have Alpha Week, where we have events going on throughout the week, but there were always something going on for the fraternity, and there was always opportunity to get involved. So through the week, academically, we in class, we got study hall, we have meetings, we're involved with leadership. We may host programs, service programs, so some workshops, sex education awareness. It could be, self-care, planning, you name it, we did it. And then on Thursdays, we party. That's how we made money. We would do step shows, step practice. I was the dean of pledges. I've served as the step master, treasurer, vice president, president, you name it, I've done it. And that changed my life. Because to be shy and quiet, which I was, that I had to remove that, because you can't be in these leadership roles and positions being shy. So it forced me outside of my comfort zone. When it comes to when we go to parties, we putting on a show to make more money, to let people know we out here. And it was just this business and personal side and connection of community that just enhanced my entire life. Being in this fraternity, full transparency, self-disclosure, I didn't know how to write a check until I became a treasurer of the fraternity. True story. I didn't know how to properly tie a necktie until I became a member of this fraternity. I didn't know how to effectively communicate as well until I became a member of this fraternity. I didn't know what leadership and service truly meant until I became a member. Like, this experience shifted my entire life. In my humble opinion, it's the reason I was able to graduate. It's the reason I went further. It's the reason I went and got a master's. It's the reason I went and got a PhD. It's the reason I'm doing this podcast. It's the reason for a lot of things that I have. There are remnants of my experience from 26 years ago that taught me about life in a way that I never saw before. Being connected to people who are really high in their position and their roles may help me to see things that I didn't know was possible. May have mentioned this before. The first black male professor I ever saw was in a movie, 1993, a movie called Higher Learning with Professor Maurice Phipps, a character played by Lawrence Fishburne. That was the first time I ever seen a black male professor. Never saw another one until in person in 2007 when I was in my master's program. And that speaks volumes to you can't be who you cannot see. So this fictional character was enough for me until I got involved in the fraternity where I saw black male professors and doctors. I saw them experiencing within this profession. That didn't happen until 2007, but I was exposed to them. So even through my undergraduate experience, all through high school, I never had a black male PhD professor. Just never happened. But I was exposed to black men with PhDs and MDs, and that exposed me to so much more. They drove nice cars, they had nice houses, it was nice. And I'm like, what is this? Just not knowing, my ignorance. And through this exposure and these experiences, it really shaped my life in ways that I could have never imagined. So even now, if you notice, a lot of times, like even right over here, for those who watch on YouTube, that's my brown blazer. It's part of my uniform. I'm actually headed to do a workshop soon. So I wear that often because it pays homage to who I once was. It pays homage to Professor Phipps, the first black male, 93. That's why I wear that blazer. Got the patches on the sleeve and everything. Don't represent Freud, it represents Maurice Phipps. It represents me. 3 parallels all day long. I hope this is making sense. If it ain't, rewind it. So I share all this because, like, a lot of people give fraternities and sororities a bad rap. Some people just don't know. And to me, I pay so much to this fraternity because it made me who I am today. The connections, the relationships, the people that I'm connected with to this day is due to what happened 26 years ago. You heard my story related to me and Taiwo, Dr. Togan, and the step shows. There's so much, but this is a portion that I really wanted to share with you. Now, to go even further, as I mentioned, Area 5, there was competition. So the prestigious Pi Delta chapter, that's at University of West Alabama. You have the illustrious Kappa Alpha chapter at University of Alabama. Big shout out to them. You have the elite Epsilon Nu chapter, Stillman College, HBCU, Tuscaloosa. Then you have the alumni chapter, Delta Phi Lambda. So all of us will get together as a cluster at least once a month for different events and activities, especially when it was coming to, time for membership initiation or intake. So I was always connected to different types of men from all walks of life throughout my college experience. I had access. And having access to these different men gave me exposure, awareness, education, engagement, mentorship. And now, full circle, I'm on the other side, being able to give people what I didn't get, what I did get, and what I feel as though people deserve. So I love the fact that this fraternity has helped me become him, all caps, no blue hat. And I'm sharing my experience with you because I'm sure you have experiences from the past that has implemented who you are right now. And to me, that's a privilege. That's a privilege that's earned that you can use to the best of your ability. So with that being said, we were always competitive with each other. Now, it was a family, you know what I'm saying? So if you're a part of the fraternity, it's family. We don't play about family. We could talk ish about each other, but you can't talk ish about us. But we were very competitive with each other because, we always wanted to be the best steppers, the best dressed, the most awarded, because we were competing with each other at these different conferences of who has the best chapter. It was always competition. And the best chapter could be, the brother with the highest GPA, oratorical contest, chapter of the year, brother of the year, best step team of the year, Scholastic, who's doing the most work. Like, it was competitive of whose chapter was going to be the best. And when it came to Area 5, we all competed with each other, and it was a stiff competition that I loved. And our biggest competitor at the time was the Kappa Alpha chapter, University of Alabama, because they came deep always and all the time. They're the biggest chapter because it's the biggest university that was in our area. So they were known for the Weegens. These are shoes, like the penny loafers, the Weegens and white socks, which was inspired by Michael Jackson, which the person who was inspired by was Cedric Sparks, to my knowledge. Now, if y'all know KA brothers, if y'all know somebody else, if y'all know some other knowledge, please let me know. But just based off of what I was informed, their style, they had blue blazers, some khakis, white shirt, the Weegens, and white socks. Man, it was the coolest thing ever. And these brothers were so cool, so smooth, and that's what I was exposed to. And they were arrogant and cocky too. So there was this tension that we had, being at Alabama versus being at West Alabama. There was a huge difference. They had a lot of resources, support, and exposure that we just did not have. And having a smaller chapter, we always had the chip on our shoulder, but we believed in, quality over quantity. So we were really big on having quality guys versus just having a bunch of dudes. So Kappa Alpha chapter at the time were one of the best step teams to ever do it that I've seen. There are others: Alabama State, Beta Oop, Auburn University, OK, Omicron Kappa. Big shout out to them. So we were all together, and it's so wild that a lot of these people that I was connected with throughout the years in undergrad, we connected afterwards, and even beyond, in different fraternities. And I'll share more of that as we go. For example, the reason that I took stepping so serious, number one, I was good at it, I enjoyed it, and there was competition, and there was somebody that I always looked up to as I want to beat him, I want to be better than him, and that was the one and only Eddie Cohen, Doobie from KA. This brother was phenomenal. Now, he's been president of Urban League. He's Boys and Girls Club. This brother doing some big time things. I think he just became CEO of some organization recently out of DC. These brothers do some bad stuff. These brothers are next level. If you know Alpha, you got you Alpha, you got you a good thing. I'm trying to tell you, okay? So I always looked up to him because he was bad. He was one of the baddest on stage. And that's who I looked up to, as in, I gotta get him. I want to be able to be him. And, just life being life over time, even though there was some competitive spirit, there was always love and respect for each other. And years later, we ended up working together in the mayor's office, Division of Youth Services, same place that Cedric Sparks worked. It's all connected. And, I let him, he was arrogant on a whole nother level. And it was part of the culture that he was a part of. And when we got a chance to work together, I kind of called him in on, hey man, you was a butthole when we was you was the worst when we was in school. And we were able to make amends, and we actually shared the stage together working in the mayor's office. So it was a full circle moment. But the guy who I looked up to, we were able to share the stage, and that was a phenomenal thing. In addition, brothers in the alumni chapter, big shout out Carl Montgomery, Greg Jackson, Brother Bentley, Stephen Lockhart, Brother Agason, all these guys from different chapters would go into the alumni chapter and just pour back into us. It was a beautiful thing. And then to Stedman College, Epsilon Nu. Full circle moment, I was able to reconnect with a brother from Epsilon Nu 26 years later. The one and only Eric McAlpin. Eric McAlpin. 26 years later, we stayed in contact, on social media and just stayed connected. But he reached out to me not too long ago, yo, I see you in this podcast space, man. I'm doing the same thing. Teach me the game. And I'm like, yo, I got you. And he was sharing how great the show is and what I'm doing and talking about mental health and, for Black men. And he was so excited And he has his own podcast, Tony Dixon and Friends podcast. They got a real studio. They got the video camera, everything. And even with that, he was, honest enough to come to me like, man, I love what you're doing. How do we collab? How do we partner? And that's where we are now. And guess who's going to be on the show next week? The one and only Eric McAlpin. I need you to see full circle. I'm giving you what I got because I got it and I don't run out. And this is just a piece of my journey, because everything that we've experienced, all of it is the reason where we are right now. And to me, if you're being intentional about it, you can take all the lived experiences that you have and you had to help you become the best version of you possible. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I'm doing. And now I'm sharing it with you. So I hope this episode gives you something to think about. I hope it gives you something. No, I don't hope. Hope only got Obama in office. I expect this episode gave you some breadcrumbs, some ripples, some honey buns. I hope this helps you understand me more, understand fraternities, sororities more. There's so much more that's there. I'm just giving you some cliff notes, but just enough to help you help yourself. That's what this is about. Us getting better, learning, living. So this concludes the episode for now. I wanted to share what I had. And today is a wonderful day for you to do something different, uncomfortable, and new. Your life work this week, I would challenge you to do something different, uncomfortable, and new. How often? Every day this week. It could be as simple as brushing your teeth with the opposite hand. It could be as hard as having a courageous conversation with somebody you need to have a conversation with. Former versions of yourself or who you need to talk to. That's what I would challenge. More is coming. This is June. So I'm bringing a lot more. You know, my birthday next month is going down, baby. I don't know what's going to happen, but something's going to happen. I'm building, I'm collecting, I'm growing in this space, in place, and I would love for you to ride with me. Speaking of a ride, we're going on a road trip a little later next week. So look forward to that. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for being an avid listener, a fan of the show. Let me know you're here. Like, subscribe, comment, share, grab a friend, bring them in. The podcast is one aspect. It don't cost you nothing but time and attention. Gator Skills Journal is available for you, and it's ready. It's on Amazon. We got merch, baby. Yes, indeed. I got some merch. I am him. I am her. I am them. And we got a sale going on. So 20% off. Now is the time to get your merch. Gator University. Open enrollment is happening. Get in where you fit in. Inside Gator University is the lab. So you can hop into the lab every week, 9 a.m. No pressure whatsoever, but have some brunch and lunch with us. I'm creating opportunities. I'm creating experiences. I'm curating experiences for all of us. So thank you for being you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Thank you for still being here. Woo! And if you are a member, if you know anybody that's a member, About 5 Fraternity Incorporated, send them a text. Let them know how much you love them. Let them know how much you appreciate them. And share the show with anybody who you feel as though can benefit from it. This has been another episode of 3PLS Podcast with your host, the Brother Dr. Jason Branch. A show where we rediscover who we were, embrace who we are, make room for who we're trying to become. If that is you, you're in the right place at the right time. Thank you for joining me. Take care of yourselves. Do better. Okay? Think about 3PLS, who you are, who you were, who you're becoming. Do better. Be better. How? By doing things you never done. That is it. That is all. Good night. Hey, 6. Let's get it.